One man stood alone against kings, false prophets, and an entire nation that had turned away from God. His name was Elijah. And his story is one of fire from heaven, miracles, and unshakable faith. Elijah first appears suddenly, a prophet from Tishbe in Gilead. He boldly confronts King Ahab, declaring, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word." Immediately after this, God tells Elijah to hide in the Korath ravine. There, he drinks from the brook, and ravens miraculously bring him bread and meat every morning and evening. When the brook dries up because of the drought, God sends him to Zarephath, where a poor widow is gathering sticks. Elijah asks her for bread, but she replies she only has a handful of flour and a little oil, just enough for one last meal for her and her son. Elijah reassures her, saying the jar of flour and jug of oil will not run dry until the Lord sends rain again. She obeys, and the miracle happens. Their food never runs out. Later, the widow's son becomes very ill and dies. Elijah prays earnestly and stretches himself upon the boy 3 times. God answers, and the child revives. The widow declares, "Now I know that you are a man of God and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is truth." In the 3rd year of the drought, God tells Elijah to present himself to King Ahab. On his way, Elijah meets Obadiah, a faithful servant of God who had hidden 100 prophets from Jezebel. Elijah tells Ahab to gather all Israel and the prophets of Baal and Asherah on Mount Carmel. There, Elijah challenges the people, "How long will you waver between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, follow him." 2 altars are set up, one for Baal, one for the Lord. The prophets of Baal cry out from morning till evening, cutting themselves, dancing, and shouting, but nothing happens. Elijah mocks them, "Shout louder." Maybe he is deep in thought, busy, traveling, or sleeping. When it is Elijah's turn, he rebuilds the Lord's altar with 12 stones, digs a trench, and pours water over the sacrifice until it's soaked. He prays, "Answer me, O Lord, so these people will know that you are God." Immediately, fire falls from heaven, consuming the sacrifice, wood, stones, soil, and even the water. The people fall on their faces crying, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." Elijah orders the false prophets to be seized and executed. Then he prays for rain. A small cloud forms, and soon heavy rain pours down, ending the drought. After this great victory, Queen Jezebel threatens Elijah's life. Terrified, he flees into the wilderness and prays to die, "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life." Exhausted, he falls asleep under a broom tree. An angel touches him, giving him bread and water, saying, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." Strengthened, Elijah travels 40 days to Mount Horeb. There, he hides in a cave. God asks, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah pours out his despair, feeling alone. God tells him to stand on the mountain. Then a powerful wind, an earthquake, and a fire pass by, but God is not in them. Finally, there comes a gentle whisper. When Elijah hears it, he covers his face with his cloak, realizing God is in the stillness. God reassures him, tells him he is not alone, and that there are still 7,000 in Israel who have not bowed to Baal. Elijah is given fresh purpose and told to anoint new leaders. King Ahaziah, Ahab's son, falls from his upper room and is injured. Instead of seeking God, he sends messengers to consult Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron. Elijah intercepts them, asking, "Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going to consult Baal-zebub?" He prophesies that Ahaziah will not recover. Ahaziah sends a captain with 50 men to arrest Elijah. Elijah calls down fire from heaven, and they are consumed. A second captain with 50 men comes, again, fire consumes them. A third. The time comes for Elijah to be taken up. Elijah and his servant Elisha travel from Gilgal to Bethel, Jericho, and finally to the Jordan. At each stop, Elijah tells Elisha to stay behind, but Elisha insists, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." 50 prophets watch as Elijah strikes the Jordan River with his cloak, and the waters part, allowing them to cross on dry ground. Elijah asks Elisha what he wants before he departs. Elisha replies. Elijah says it is a hard thing but possible if Elisha sees him being taken. Suddenly, a chariot of fire and horses of fire appear, and Elijah is swept up by a whirlwind into heaven. Elisha cries out, "My father! My father! The chariots and horsemen of Israel!" He picks up Elijah's cloak, strikes the Jordan, and the waters part for him, confirming that Elijah's spirit rests upon him. The prophets watching declare, "The spirit of Elijah is resting on Elisha." Lessons we learn from the story of Prophet Elijah: God provides in unlikely ways. He used ravens and a poor widow to sustain Elijah. God can use anyone or anything to meet our needs. Obedience brings blessings. The widow trusted Elijah's word, and her flour and oil never ran out. Faith in trials, even in famine, God's power sustains his people. You cannot serve two masters. Elijah challenged Israel to choose between God and Baal. We must be firm in our faith. Prayer brings down God's power. Elijah's simple, sincere prayer brought fire from heaven. God answers genuine prayer. God shows himself mighty. He proved to Israel that he alone is the true God. Even strong believers can feel weak. Elijah became afraid and discouraged, showing us it's human to struggle. God strengthens the weary. The angel fed Elijah, reminding us that God cares for us in our lowest moments. God often speaks in stillness. He wasn't in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in the gentle whisper. God may not always show his power dramatically but through quiet guidance. We are never alone. Elijah thought he was the only faithful one left, but God reminded him there were 7,000 others. Greed leads to sin. Ahab's desire for Naboth's vineyard led to murder and injustice. God defends the innocent. Though Naboth died unfairly, God avenged him through Elijah's prophecy. Judgment is certain for evil. Sin may seem to prosper for a while, but God's justice will prevail. Seek God, not idols. Ahaziah died because he chose to consult Baal-zebub instead of the living God. God defends his servants. Fire came down at Elijah's word to protect him from hostile soldiers. Mentorship matters. Elijah trained Elisha, showing the importance of raising godly successors. A spiritual inheritance is greater than wealth. Elisha desired a double portion of Elijah's spirit, not material things. God rewards faithfulness. Elijah never died but was taken to heaven, showing the honor God gives his faithful servants. God's power continues. Elisha carried Elijah's mantle, proving that God's work doesn't stop with one person.